Hey everyone, so this is my newest foundation routine. I'm using the Chanel Vitalumiere Aqua, so stay tuned if you want to learn how I do my foundation daily. Alright, so the first thing I need to do is put my hair back, so I'm just going to use some clips just to push back everything. Alright, so essentials to having my makeup, I need to have a cloth, so I use an old rag or old cloth just to make sure I can have something to wipe my hands on because I use my fingers for this. And I also have some hand sanitizer. This one is my favorite scent, the lemon from Bath & Body Works, just so that my hands are nice and clean since I do use it to apply my foundation. So my skin doesn't have anything on but a little bit of moisturizer on. If I have a blemish, I usually do this as the first step. So this is the Clear Cell Rapid Action Treatment. It's a 4-hour diminisher. It just helps smooth over any kind of bumps I may have. It just kind of helps them, you know, smooth down and not be so, you know, obvious. So I like to use this on those, and plus it helps treat the pimples because it has benzoyl peroxide. And if you know me, I do love my benzoyl peroxide. So I just put this on any affected area, and it just helps them from being so obvious. It also helps with kind of just smoothing everything over, so I really like that. Alright, so after that's kind of settled a bit, I put this on, which is my De-Slicked by Urban Decay setting spray. I apply this before and after my makeup, so it just helps everything set really well, and plus it also gives a nice matte finish. So I just spray that on. You don't want to have your mouth open while you do it. I let it dry a bit. And then I move on to my eyes, because I always do my eyes first before my makeup. But since I'm just showing you my foundation, I'm just going to put my base on. So this is the Urban Decay Shadow Primer Potion, and this is in the color Eden. So I take a little bit of that, I mean honestly a small amount, kind of just lightly apply it all over the lid, and I just like that it gives an even amount of product, and it just wakes up the eye. Alright, so now that my lids are all primed, I'm going to move on to my Vitalumiere Aqua by Chanel, my favorite foundation for every day. This is kind of like my foundation that I wear to work, mainly because it stays on really well and it gives a good amount of coverage, and it's just an all-around great foundation for like everyday use when you're just gonna, you know, go to work or, you know, have some lunch, or, you know, just want something that's gonna look nice and good all around. So yeah, make sure I shake that up, and then I apply this onto my hands. Make sure you have clean hands, and I just take a little bit amount of it and just slowly work it in. So I've honestly used this with all kinds of brushes, and I've really just like it with my fingers. I've never found anything that works better. I just really like the way it goes on with my fingers. Nice even coat. Make sure to blend down. Alright, so now that I've applied my foundation, everything is just nice and even, I'm going to move on to concealer. I apply this, which is the MAC Select Cover Up in NC 35, sorry. I'm in between 30 and 35, so right now my skin's a little bit more tan because I just came back from the festival, so I use 35. And the way I apply this is I just put some on the back of my hand, just like that, a good dollop, and I work this with my fingers. Just take a little bit of that, and I place this just in the areas where I need a little bit more coverage. I think you probably heard me say this before, but foundation shouldn't be the thing you rely on to cover your acne or cover your scars. You should really rely on a really good concealer, a heavy-duty concealer, to cover any kind of discoloration or blemishes or any kind of problem areas, because if you rely on a foundation to cover it, your foundation will end up looking very cakey. I particularly like this concealer because it dries matte and it has full coverage, so I really like that for my skin because I have quite oily skin. If you have quite drier skin, then I could suggest the Cover FX. That one works really well for more drier skin because it doesn't set. It sets more of like a satin, not really matte. But this one definitely sets matte, so keep in mind that if you have a certain type of skin type. So now that I'm all covered up, I'm going to blend this out. I used to blend it out with my fingers, but I found that using the buffing brush by Real Techniques is way better. So I'm going to use this brush to buff it out. Some people like to use this one, which is the contouring one, but I personally like the bigger one because it gives a lot more surface area, and I found that my scarring and acne are kind of in clusters, so it just works better to use a larger area of a brush. So I let it kind of sit a little while, which I've been doing while I've been talking. So once it sets a little bit and gets a little bit tackier, I start blending it out, and I don't usually use this to buff. I kind of use this to stipple. These are really great stippling brushes as well. So like you see, I'm just kind of stippling this on. And it gives really great coverage. I'm just kind of blending it on. And once again, just pouncing my brush onto the area. If I need more blending, then I just kind of buff it on. But usually, I'm just kind of stippling this product on. But yeah, that gave us really good coverage. As you can see, now everything is nice and covered. So moving on to under eyes, I recently just discovered this under eye concealer and I really like it. This is the Clinique Airbrush Concealer. It's really, really nice. I have the color 04, which is, I think, is neutral. It kind of luminizes the underneath area and also conceals any kind of darkness you want to conceal. So I really, really like this. Definitely recommend trying it out at Sephora, which is where I tried on. They have a lot of different shades, and they use a coloring system that is best for your undertone color. So I got one that was more yellowy because obviously I'm more yellow. So yeah, it's a nice twisting method, which I like, and one twist is pretty much enough for both eyes because a lot does come out. So I kind of do a nice little triangle of light, which is like a little V. I call it a triangle of light. So I just do a little bit down and make sure I get really underneath there. And then I also use it on the tip of my nose, on my Cupid's bow, and down the center because I just like this part a little bit more highlighted. And make sure I get right underneath there. It also smells kind of good, which is strange. Now to blend this out, I also use another Real Techniques brush. This one is the pointed foundation brush. I really like this for applying this because once again it's pointed, so it gets really great in this area, and it gives the same kind of stippling method as the buffing one that I use for the other concealer. So what I do with this is I kind of just pounce it on, once again stippling on that product. I personally like really, really sculpted skin on an everyday basis. So this is like my way of doing that. So let's go back to this side and just kind of help blend that edges. And I really, really love these brushes. If you haven't tried out these Real Technique brushes by Samantha Chapman, it is a must-have. They're really inexpensive. The package they come in is so great for traveling, and they're really inexpensive. I don't know if I just said that, but oh my gosh, love, love, love these brushes. They're a lifesaver, and I'm thinking of just buying some backups just in case, I don't know, these go bad, but I've had these for a while, and honestly, they work really well. So yeah, there's my face nice and highlighted. As you see, the eye area is really, really highlighted, which I love. It's kind of like that Kim Kardashian kind of thing, which looks really nice on a lot of people. So yeah, now that I'm nice and concealed, I can go ahead and start sculpting and putting a little bit of luminizer and then setting all of this. So to contour, which I do every day, and I don't use bronzer, I use a contouring product, which is the Chanel Soleil de Tan, which is also Bronze Universal. I love this stuff because it has no shimmer in it. It's great for contouring, and it just gives a nice natural look to the skin. It doesn't look overbearing, and it doesn't have any kind of shimmer, which also makes it look more natural. So I apply this with the Ta-Da contouring brush, another Real Techniques. These are just really great brushes for cream products. They just blend really well, and they're my favorite. I like them more than my Sigma ones, and they're way, way cheaper. So yeah, I use a contouring brush with my Chanel Bronze Universal, and I get a little bit on there, tap a little bit on the back of my hand because I don't want too much, and I second my cheeks, and I just use a tiny amount. I really don't want a lot, to just help contour my face, and I use this on the sides of my face as well, also down here. And I just kind of help guide this in. And the reason why I'm stippling like this is because I don't want it to look like a big old streak, and I think stippling is the best way to do it. So that looks really nice and contoured, which is great. So I'm going to do the same thing to this side. But as you can see, it gives a really nice sculpted look. So let's move on to highlighting. So for highlighting, I use something really inexpensive. This is the e.l.f. Shimmering Facial Whip. This is in the color Lilac Petal. These tend to separate, so you want to make sure you shake them up before you use them. But I've had them for ages and they work really well. They're like $1 or something from e.l.f. So they're definitely something you should try checking out. They're a lot cheaper than getting like the Benefit ones, and I don't use it all the time, so I don't really feel a need to buy something so expensive. So I take a little bit of this onto my finger, tap a little bit off, and I just apply this just onto the highlight area right here on top of my cheekbone. And this just gives a lot of light to the face and helps kind of even out the contouring and sculpting. So everything looks nice and pretty and highlighted. And I don't do this every day because this is a little bit much, but I'm going out tonight, so I thought I would do a little bit more than what I normally do. So this is really, really pretty. And I also have the color more of a goldeny, I think it's called Golden Peach. That one's really pretty for like every day, like going out in the sun. This one is more like a pinky tone, so it's a little bit more different. It's a little bit brighter for more of a yellow skin tone, so that's why I chose this one, because it's better for going out with, because it's more noticeable at night. It's a little bit much for the day. But the Golden Peach is really pretty for during the day. Onto my Cupid's bow, just to give it a little bit of something extra. So now that I'm all done, I just need to set all of this and keep it in place. I just take this, which is another Eyes Lip Face or e.l.f. product, and this is just a powder puff. I just take a little bit of this Makeup Forever HD setting powder, which is awesome. I love this. This is probably my 4th tube of this stuff because it works really well for all types of foundations and works really well for all different types of skin. I take a little bit of this onto the little cap, and you can see there, if you wanna, there you go. Take a little bit of that, and then I just take my powder puff and I just press this in, tap a little bit off, and I always start with the under eye, and I just start setting everything and just lightly press this in. And I found this method of setting your makeup really helps if you have blemishes or scarring, because it really does give a really flawless look and helps the makeup stay on a lot longer rather than using a brush. So yeah, I found this works really well, and I kind of just go all over with it. A little bit more delicate in some other areas, but most of the time it's just really a patting motion, just pressing it onto the skin, just like this. One more thing. So all I'm going to do is just spray this one more time, and then I'll be done. And so that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed that and had a great time watching. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye!